Good afternoon. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the CJCC meeting on May 13th, 2026. It's 12 o'clock p.m. And I'm going to start with roll call. Julia Lyons is excused today. Judge Smith, Dave Dixon, Mike Markran,
Here.
Mike Waller, Lorraine Gouget, Doug Morotek, Bruce Boquette, Katie Ballinger, Judge Yackel, Mark Helwig, Judge Isham, Marshall Sabitsky, Kathy McCoy, Bill Trepanier, Amanda Locker.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you.
Let the record show that Amanda Locker is now virtual, and we also have District Attorney Poquette here with us.
So we have 9, we have 10.
Okay, so today we have election of officers, chair and vice chair of this committee. First, let the record show this meeting was noticed to the public and news media as required by Section 19.84 of Wisconsin statutes. Now I will open the floor for nominations for the position of chair of the CJCC committee. A person receiving a majority vote of members entitled to a seat shall be declared elected. This vote shall take place by secret ballot. If no majority is reached, balloting shall continue, including all nominees, until a majority is reached. Once the candidates have been nominated, they will be afforded the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. At this time, I will open the floor for nominations for the position of chair of CJCC. Do I hear any nominations?
I'll make a nomination for Julia Lyons.
And Ms. Lyons has indicated that she would accept if nominated. Okay, are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, you may proceed to vote. You guys have a ballot at your seat.
Oh, wow. Thank you. We have what?
Okay, the votes have been counted, and there was a unanimous election of Julia Lyons as chair of CJCC. It was unanimous. Okay, and now we will proceed to elect the vice chair. So the same as before, I will now open the floor for nominations for vice chair of CJCC. Okay.
Somebody say something.
Do I have to accept the nomination? I accept the nomination.
Okay, would you like to speak?
Just to say a few words, I thank you for all your support over the years, just as a member and then in this position. I really enjoy getting to know all of you, and I think we're going to do some good things in the future. So thank you.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Hearing none, now I will close the nominations, and you may proceed to vote for vice chair. And you have another ballot at your seat. Okay, the votes have been counted, and it was a unanimous vote for Judge Smith for vice chair.
Thank you.
And I will now turn the meeting over to Judge Smith. She's going to chair in Julia's absence today.
Thank you. All right, so have everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? And if you have, are there any changes suggested? Okay, do we need a motion to, I don't think so, okay. All right, so are there any public comments? All right, no public comments. And then I'd like to consider approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
I make the motion.
I'll second that.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any nays? Passed by unanimous. Oh, okay. So one abstain? Okay. One abstention from Judge Isham. And then, who did the second? I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, so the minutes have been approved for the April 8th, 2026 meeting. Now we're going to go to the CJCC bylaws. I know that Julia attached a copy for everybody, I think. Does everybody have a copy, or maybe there's a copy online?
I just had a question. You know, we changed the bylaws so that the judges could have a designee appointment. Monica, I'm so glad to see you here today again. We missed you. Anyway, I guess I'm concerned about Judge Yackel though, because he rarely attends meetings. And he has the ability to appoint a designee, and I don't know what the procedure is to get him to do that, because we really need that body in the room here with us. And I think there are people in his office who could add a lot, you know, in his place, you know, to this committee. So we added it so that that was possible, but I don't know really what the mechanism is in order to get him to appoint a designee.
Yeah, I don't remember us ever talking about a process to do that, but we can certainly put it out there for discussion. Does anybody have any ideas?
I mean, could you or somebody who's on the county board perhaps ask him if he would recommend an appointment, or Monica, maybe, I don't know if you could, or I don't, you know.
Yeah, I
right.
can definitely do that. So just assuming it'll probably be his judicial assistant. Usually if we can't be here, we try to have the judicial assistants come so they can at least fill us in on what kind of happened and if there was anything else that we need. So I think that's probably the logical person to step
And I
into
think
that.
that was at the cover, I think they were at the meeting actually, and were like, yeah, that'd be great, you know,
Okay.
we could be here, you know, right? So they were
Perfect.
on board, so that would be the logical place to go with it, yeah.
Okay, he's at judicial education this week, so I will send him a message and then I probably won't know until like next week, but.
And that gives you the flexibility then too, if you're gonna have a designated
Right.
person that you make us aware of it, because it has to be approved then, that is your designated alternate by the bylaw, as per our bylaws. And then actually, I think the county board also has to approve that. So
Okay.
that person would be on file, so then if you can make it or he couldn't make it, we would have that permanent designee in place, right?
I like that idea.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
And to that point, Sari and Christy are almost always here.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of times where we had trouble making quorum and they were right here in the chair. So if we could just officially do that, we could pull them into the table then.
That makes so much sense.
Great idea.
That makes a lot of sense. There's just a lot of moving parts. If it's not a hearing, we got to prepare for one, or we got to write something from one, or we've got to, you know, there's more to this than just sitting on the bench, which, hey, that would have been nice to put in the advertisement. Just kidding. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I like it. I think it's a great idea. And I'll definitely reach out.
Yes,
I would just like to mention on Kathy's point, I think that's a good point. And with the sheriff's office, we have our chief deputy as our designee. And usually he's in attendance, but he's gone today, so that he's up to speed regularly as well. And then we do have 2 voting members from the sheriff's office typically here.
What process did you guys do? Was there any sort of written or formal process that you took to have
No,
them
we
be
just, I
designated?
just made that appointment
Okay.
and we had admin discussion with us and that was the decision we made to move it forward for the committee.
Okay, great.
now, anything else on the bylaws? I know that the executive committee did not meet the last time, so Kathy and Bruce can help me out here, but I don't think that there were any changes that were made that I can recall. Still under review. We're trying to make the changes to match the model bylaws, and I think that's what we're supposed to be working on. So I'll get with Julia, and we can set another meeting maybe for the end of the month sometime. Are Bruce and Kathy, are you going anywhere at the end of the month? On a Friday, maybe? Are those good days, usually? Gonna be gone the last week? Oh, that's Memorial
Yeah.
Day coming up on the 25th, I remember that. All right, well, we'll work out something. I don't have anything else on the bylaws. Does anybody else have anything? Nope. Nope. Okay.
Judge Smith, I have a question reading the bylaws here. It doesn't say the designees have to be approved by county board. It just says the actual members need the approval of county board. So since Sheriff Marotek already has a process, would it be possible to just allow the judges to name their designee to the committee here? It doesn't have to go to county board that I can see on here.
I didn't see that either, but that's fine with me.
We do that at other subcommittees too, Liz, like LEPC, we have designees for, if one of us can't make it, we have, our assistants or whatever show up, so. It's common.
And then you don't go to the Board of Supervisors for approval, I guess? Is that right?
That person doesn't have to get approved by the board or anything?
They're just designated?
We as the committee approved that LEPC in the past, that's all right? So the committee approved it, but not the county board.
Okay.
I think the only issue is that we want it to be consistently the same person if possible. We don't want a different person showing up every month, and I think, I didn't read the bylaws real closely, I just knew that we had changed that to do that, so, I guess, so it would be nice if we could have, this is my designee, so if I'm not here, it's just like the sheriff has a named person or position, right?
All right, thank you. All right, so now we have the jailer report.
Thank you. In April of '26, we seen an average daily population of 62 inmates, 13 of those being females, 49 males. Our average probation incarceration was at 39. Pre-sentence incarceration was at 14 with 9 sentence inmates. I believe we currently have 0 on electronic monitoring. I believe there's 1 up and coming. However, there were 61 inmates the day that this report was generated with an unemployment rate at the time of booking at 70%. Thank you.
Any questions? Nope. Thank you. And we also have the accompanying county jail report on the prisoner location and reason for incarceration. Does that go with this one? Oh, there's Lorraine. So it just goes with this one, just for the information? Okay, all right,
I had
thank you.
a quick question. As far as jail programming goes, is there anything upcoming for mental health or anything like that that's changed or is potentially on the horizon to change? Okay, all right. I get questions like that sometimes. So, I'm like, oh, I know there's stuff, but I don't know if there's stuff coming, you know?
Judge, I can speak to that. This is Becky.
Oh, okay. Hi, Becky.
We currently don't have anything up and coming for mental health. We have been looking for some sort of mental health provisions that we can offer during incarceration. But if anybody knows, so just to clarify, the majority of our jail programs run on volunteers. We vet them, and there is a background process, and we vet the programs that they want to offer. So there is a process in place, but if anybody knows of anyone who's willing to offer those types of services, they can contact me and we can talk about what that process looks like.
Awesome, thank you. I will kind of look into it a little bit. I do get that question. I get the question sometimes, but then I also get it in arguments. And it's usually, just sort of anecdotally, but it's usually the argument of when somebody is on like a revocation or something, and the question is, should they go to prison or jail? And a lot of times the argument is the programming. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, you know, that's a tough question. It's a tough question.
There's a list of current programs offered in the CJCC packet.
Perfect.
I just had a quick question. We do not house any juveniles, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And where are we placing our juveniles at this point? They're going to Claresville? Okay.
Sometimes it's Wausau.
And then, okay. All right, that's just.
Any other questions? Not, we will go to the next item. The next item is Justice Point report.
Okay, I assume everybody can hear me?
We can.
Okay, so the month of April, we had on pretrial 110 active clients. We had 11 successful completions. That's a big number for us for successful completions. So huge shout out to the clients and of course the case managers who do that, all of that support. We had 1 unsuccessful and 14 referrals that were pending at the end of April. Diversion, 11 active, 10 referrals pending. I don't know if anybody has paid attention, but our diversion process appears to be moving quicker than it was, which is a good thing. We had 2 successful completions, and then treatment court, currently 3 technical active. I believe that there are some terminations in place. If anybody wants to speak to that, feel free. And there was 1 referral in April, which now has been brought on. So in the month of May, those numbers will change, obviously. Does anybody have any questions about the numbers?
I can just kind of update that. So we've got, technically 3, 1 who is pending termination, and 2 more who are supposed to start today.
Oh, well, I did not run that in April. So that must have
I
been
just did the
April.
sentencing on Monday, so
Oh,
for the
okay.
second one.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay. So any follow-up questions about that?
Can I just ask, when they aren't completing, why are they not completing? What are the reasonings there?
For pretrial or
Yeah.
for, okay,
Well,
for
yeah.
for pretrial, and Judge can expand on this if she'd like to, but when we have somebody on pretrial supervision who, there's different risk levels, so there's different requirements for every risk level. When somebody is not in compliance with the terms of their bond under our supervision, because there's other bond requirements, right? But specific to their supervision, the case managers will write a violation report and send that to the court. And then if somebody is completely MIA and not showing up whatsoever, if there is a bench warrant issued and 30 days goes by, we close that case and it's considered unsuccessful because they didn't successfully complete the terms of their supervision. So that's what the majority of them are, is that they run, and we can't contact them. You know, we have phone numbers, we have addresses. It's a term of their bond to keep all of those things updated. But sometimes we're chasing people who just don't want to be found.
Any other questions? No?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Becky.
Yep. Okay, so deflection, as I had updated previously, we applied for funding that was reentry navigator funding through DHS in a hopes of continuing our deflection funding that we have, which will be exhausted by the end of June. And we did not receive that. We received a very nice follow-up letter saying your program model is doing great, but it was a very competitive grant process and you were not elected. And I just had my state deflection call this morning and found out that there was 2 other sites within my call that applied and they also were not awarded. So it does sound like there was only 4 awards within the state of Wisconsin for that. We will continue to pursue other options, but right now that one was not awarded. Outreach continues to be the focus for deflection. We have a number of ongoing community events that we have been able to fund through donations. So we'll continue to do those as long as we can continue to get donations, and we're continually pursuing new ones as well. I kind of did a list of the ongoing ones. Those are highlighted in yellow. They're also, which I had announced before, we had a one-time donation of $10,000 from a community member, which does not happen very often. So that helped us tremendously. Any questions on deflection? Okay, so
I just wanted to add, it is good to have that support and that awareness, and we may not have been granted the funding that we were hoping to meet some of our needs. However, when you have healthy things going on and things taking place, it's good to see that continue in ways that we can, and to acknowledge the successes we've had. So just want to put it in there.
Yeah, agreed, Lorraine. And to speak to that, the whole goal of our community events is it's not focused on people who are involved in the criminal justice system, and it's not focused on people who are not. The whole goal is to bring people together and really help anybody who is struggling establish a support network within a healthy community. So that's the premise behind the community events. Okay, so 2027 TAD, the application process is different this year than it has been in previous years. It's also, once again, extremely competitive. So the pre-application opened May 5th, which was last week. I have the pre-application and I forwarded that on to Liz. I also have a letter of recommendation for us to apply for funding, which has to be completed in order for me to submit that application. So we'd like to max out our request on funding for treatment court, and we've been awarded in the past $125 for diversion. With our diversion program up and running well, like a well-oiled machine right now, we do see the opportunity to possibly apply for $100,000 and still continue services as they are. My hope in doing that is asking for less for diversion, but more for treatment court, because we're still getting our feet underneath us with treatment court. And I think it would be more of a benefit to us to have more funding in treatment court than in diversion. If anybody doesn't like that idea, I'm more than open to discussions about that.
Becky, this is Judge Smith. I just have a question. On the agenda, it says that you were looking for approval for $150,000 for diversion, but actually it's $100,000?
We just decided to change it this Monday when we went through the budget and looked at what we have spent in the past. And although we have spent our diversion funds, it's like it comes down to the wire, like, okay, I have this left, let's spend this. And we don't think that is the most effective use of our funds. But whereas treatment court, we are very, very limited on the funds that we have available. So it seems more realistic for us to apply for more treatment court funds and less diversion funds. So yes, that was what I had written originally. But on Monday, when we went back through our budget, we decided that we could do things differently.
All right, thank you. And I think that Becky's looking for a vote to approve the TAD application as
Yes.
written.
Just one
Yes,
question.
I'm looking for a vote for that. And then if everybody is for that, there is a signature page that Liz has that she can pass around.
So one question, so then for treatment court, are we still looking at 150 or are we looking at 175?
150 for treatment court. The
150.
max is 150. Yeah, but that's what we want to apply for the max.
Okay, but we would decrease the amount we're going to apply for diversion.
Correct.
Down to 100,000
Correct.
from the 150.
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, the motion has passed. I'm going to pass around the signature page for everybody to sign. I'll start over there.
Okay, great. And then I'll talk as you're signing. So the site visit that was conducted on January 14th, I also sent those results out, and they have a list of recommendations for us. I summarized those recommendations and presented them to our steering committee, our treatment court steering committee. We will be making a valiant effort to implement as many of those recommendations as possible. The more that we can do, the better it's going to look for us in future funding applications, because we're taking the recommendations from the grant administrators. WATCP was the end of April, which Rebecca was the only person from our office that attended, and she brought back 3.5 pages of notes, so that was very helpful. All Rise is in July in Nashville, and we planned on sending one person from our office, but again, funds are limited, so Julia was able to find funding source for multiple court members to go through, and I know Julia's not here, but she had sent out an email to anybody who was interested to respond to some questions, because she has to speak to how our funds are being spent within grants. And the last time I had talked to her, which was last week, she sent out 9 emails and got 2 responses. So we may not be sending a huge team to All Rise, but I will keep everybody updated, or Julia can update everybody at next month also. So then we move on to jail programs, and just as earlier, I try to keep these updated as to which programs we're running or which ones we have on the burner trying to get on our schedule. So these are the current ones, and just to highlight, we have 18 GED completions in the 25-26 school year, which is amazing. And Aurelie Carroll, who is our representative from Northwood Tech that works with people on their GEDs, plans to be present at the June CJCC.
All right.
Any questions?
Does, do they connect with Aaron Davis at the university also for their GED, HSED?
Not that I know of. That name does not sound familiar to me.
Is there any way he could?
So when you say connect with them, do you mean for him to come into the jail and work with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the application for professional visitors is on the sheriff's department website. And if you need me to send you that link, I can send you the link. And so when somebody fills out that application, as soon as they hit send or complete, then we get it and start our background process. And it takes about a week, sometimes two, depending on what staffing is like, for us to follow up with that and then get them on the schedule.
Thank you.
No other questions?
Becky, are you going to move down to all of them? I just have a question about one of them.
Okay.
On, what is Pathways Home? What do they do?
Pathways Home is a transitional service that's provided through the Northwest Workforce Investment Board. I should have written that out, sorry, but these are usually taken from my notes. We used to have just one provider, which was Matthew Philippek. He's a case manager, but now there are two that are serving Sawyer County. So they work with clients while they're incarcerated to develop a transitional program for employment services, but there's a lot that goes into that. Because they're grant funded, they're also able to help people set up like transportation, or if they need housing, they can help with temporary housing. There are a list of pre-qualifications for Pathways Home, and I can't say what those are right off the top of my head. But Matthew does a really good job of watching our jail roster and running people that are eligible. And then he works with Michelle to schedule times to come in and schedule those implementation visits.
Thank you. Anything else, Becky?
Nope, that's it for me. I'm going to mute if nobody has any other questions. Apparently, I can't speak today.
Anybody else have any questions for Becky? No? All right, thank you. Do we have to approve her report? We don't, do we? Okay, thank you. All right, so we are going to move on to our next item, which is the Adult Protective Services statistics. And who's going to be doing that? Anybody? Is that just for our information only, or is somebody going to? Doesn't say. Oh, so is Julia going to be online for that?
No, they have all staff training today, Judge. I believe this is for information. This is just the year-end review of AAPS
Okay.
submitted by Rebecca Erickson from ADRC.
All right, thank you. So that is for information only. And then the Youth Justice Report is also attached, it looks like. And that's also for information only. It's on page 49 of this packet. And the packets are online, I assume, that people can look at them online if they want to.
These were all reviewed last night at the HHS meeting. So if someone wanted to hear the verbal report on these from the person who wrote it, those are also online on YouTube. So this was Sarah Angelskis, and she just reviews all of the work she's doing. She said things are kind of holding steady there. And they have Melinda Hoyos and these other staff members working on cases. And then when they resolve the cases, they're going to cross over into some of the other the programs. I think they're trying to do CLTS where they get wraparound services. So they're freeing up some people to take on other things. From what I understand, it's a lot of acronyms, so.
Thank you. All right, so we also have the behavioral health report, what I just stated is attached, and then the truancy and diversion. I just would like to say that Melinda Hoyos, who operates that program, she also comes to truancy court out at the tribal court, and she just does a great job in trying to connect with people and the families, go to their homes, offices, wherever they can be. And I have seen I'd say about 98% of the families kind of start to cooperate with Melinda. And so she's successful when the tribal court has not been able to. I have made referrals to ICW in a couple of instances, but nothing happens. So I think Melinda's doing a great job, and I just wanted to add that she's.
Yeah, and I definitely want to echo that too, because and when we, first had these discussions and talking about this diversion grant, this youth justice diversion program, and throwing, our efforts at truancy, and a lot of places just do not have anything to do with truancy. Truancy is kind of something that is gone by the way in a lot of places. We recognize that as being a growing issue here, and we threw these resources at it, and I'm telling you, it is working. I mean, I have so few truancy cases now. I mean, and when I do have them, they're showing up. They're showing up and they're having discussions. Half the time they're saying, oh, we already met with Melinda. She saw that we had a case and she came over and had a conversation with us. She's on the ball, ahead of the ball. And the parents are very, very much appreciating it. So we're seeing success through that program. And it's also done a very good job at getting people at least to the table, because they know that we're not just there to, issue them a citation, make them pay and walk away, because that's not fixing the problem.
Right.
So they're showing up. They've gotten word, they're showing up. And when they show up, we get to do, our own little assessment of kind of what's going on here. And I have made several referrals based off of those assessments that have come through that have probably, of course I won't know or wouldn't know, that have probably helped a family in a situation. So I think that this has just been, it's been a wonderful success from this group and this program.
That's great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
At our last Wisconsin Tribal Judges Association quarterly meeting, the subject of truancy came up, and tribal judges are also having a lot of problems with truancy and needing more teeth. And so we were all sharing ideas, and I think Melinda was going to reach out to the Lac du Flambeau chief judge, who is Judge Gary Smith, and hopefully he was able to get some assistance and some tips, perhaps some ideas. But yeah, I think truancy is a major issue, and parents just don't take education very seriously, and they don't stay consistent in many cases with pushing the child. In some cases, the child's refusing, when they get older, I'm not getting out of bed, I don't care what you say, kind of thing. So that's where Melinda comes in.
And Melinda will come in. So we've had a couple of these situations. Melinda will be like, I'll go get him right now. I'm like, all right, go get him.
Yeah.
And she will go get him and bring him in.
Yeah.
So we
She's been
love
very
it.
helpful. Been very helpful, so.
She's very hands-on. She actually had that same role in like LA or something like that for a lot of years. So she's been around this
Oh,
subject for a
okay.
long time, and she's really good.
It's always good to see them engaging with the resources rather than those punitive measures, because when we're using the other method, we weren't reaching as many.
Right.
So it's good to see them coming to the table and being able to work on
Right.
those things that we're
Right.
concerned with the education, and trying to intervene as quickly as we can when they're young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every single person that comes in, I tell them, it is not my goal for you to have to pay this ticket. My goal is for you to figure out an alternate way to get yourself to school, to get yourself, your grades up, to get these things figured out. And then at the end of this, if you have to pay the ticket because you didn't stand up and do all the things that I'm expecting of you, then I guess you're just gonna have to do it. But I think you can do this. I think you can get to school the rest of the school year. I think you can meet these goals. And they're thriving. So it's good to have a combination, I guess, approach of that carrot and stick, it's the.
I enjoy
good
my
method.
talks with the high school students in particular,
Yeah.
because I get to ask them all kinds of questions, and they really rise to the occasion. They respond, and they say, yeah, I guess I could be a little more, just kind of a little more
Yeah.
I'll be stumbling around, but
Yeah.
at least they're showing up, they're talking, and they're trying.
So do those fines carry over to their adult?
Technically, yes. Unfortunately, what ends up happening a lot is that they don't get paid, and then eventually there's a whole financial offset that they don't ever have to pay. So it kind of is pointless in the first place, if I'm being honest. But I think that the people who, just don't want to deal with it, don't want to, whatever, they're just going to go pay it right away so they don't even have to deal with it kind of a thing. Those are the only ones who are paying it. Otherwise, we're making sure that, I'll put it out to the end of the school year, have multiple hearings in between that time, and every time be like, okay, this one's at the end of the school year, you still get into school every day, because if not by this one, then you're gonna pay it, and usually by then, they're doing great.
And then they can also work their way to have those incentives as
Yeah.
they do come back, so that gets maybe some used towards that line, it gets to
Yeah.
be less as they keep improving, and keep, you know what I mean? So then
Yeah.
eventually they can take care of that in
Right.
other ways.
What's really nice is that it connects parents who need the help. I mean, in a lot of these situations, we're talking about parents who might leave the house before their kids get on the bus, or it might, they have to go to work, or they're a single parent and they don't have somebody else who's sitting at home making sure their kid goes to school, or, or there's lots of sickness, there's lots of doctor's appointments, parents are looking for tools, they're looking for resources, like, please help us, kind of a thing. And this has been really good at connecting them. I mean, I have registered myself for the triple parenting program, because I found it so helpful for some of these teens, and I've got a teen where I'm like, I need to have some help. So I've registered myself for this program because of how successful I have seen it be. So yeah, it's going really well.
So I just have a question, or this kind of ties in maybe a little bit, is that, our school district has a zero tolerance policy, okay? And I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, but, so if you get caught drugs or you get caught whatever, you're suspended automatically, I believe, for 3 months. I would be curious how many of these are occurring, and my concern is, are you giving the child a license just to sit home and play video games? Because most parents cannot sit there and babysit those kids 5 days a week. They have to go to work. So now you've taken that child out of a learning environment to quote unquote punish them, but are you really regressing in what you're doing? And this is a concern, because if you've got a kid who's already on the edge, putting him out of school and isolating him even more for 3 months without the parent's ability to be there, I think is really concerning. And so I would be curious, and maybe I can ask the school board or whatever, I would like some statistics, how many kids are actually being suspended and for how long periods of time.
It's lots. I'm gonna tell you right now,
That's what
it's
I'm worried
lots.
about. That's exactly why I'm worried about this.
I
I am, yes. And I don't know what LCO's policy on
Yeah.
this is.
So that's a school board
Yeah, that's
policy?
probably a school board policy.
It's a school board policy. They just voted affirming it 100% that they wanted to keep that policy.
Just recently?
It was in
Yeah.
the newspaper. I read it, yeah.
Yeah, so there are two
So-
kind of sides of that coin, right? The side
Right.
where it's, there are consequences to your actions, there's also, there are other students at the school, they have a right to have an education where they don't have to worry about coming into contact with things that they don't want to intentionally come into contact with. So there's that side of it. But then there's the other side where we're using education as a tool, and we're using education as something that we can take away from children, and how does that help them is the question that I have. So I mean,
Well, that's what
my
I'm saying.
personal opinion
I'm
is
not going either
on-
way on it.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing it up because I
Right.
think it ties in with this whole
I-
thing.
and
I had no
also think-
idea, so I'm very,
Yeah.
thank you.
I also think that teachers in general are overworked, underpaid, there's not very many of them, and so when there's a child who's consistently, taking away their attention, it's easier. It's easier to kick them out of school. And so I get it from that perspective, but I also get it from the perspective of a parent where, or just a person in our community who, it benefits us all to have educated children, not children who are getting kicked out of school constantly, which requires them to be always catching up and setting them up for failure rather than success.
And then also, I think that expulsion, suspension is really shouldn't be, it should never be the go-to option for a kid who's acting out, because kids need structure, they need routine, they need, these people who support them, they need all
That's
of
been the
this.
last.
They're not gonna get that if they're not in school.
Yeah, expulsion, and that should be in the last rung of things for the teachers or the administration to do. Kathy, what are the things that, if they do, they get expelled?
I don't know that much. I was aware of a couple situations where this has occurred and how punitive it was. And these are parents that are they're going to make an effort, but I just wondered how many, I'll try to get some more data. I'm curious how many are occurring and what the length is. And I wondered if LCO had a similar policy.
Yeah, I'll
just-
answer on LCO, but at LCO, they have what they call dollars for days, and so the child can pay off their fine by signing up for dollars for days, and they have to just show up to school, and they pass all their classes. And I sometimes make them go to after-school tutoring and explain that this is not a punishment. I want to explain to you, I'm trying to help you, because when you get behind in subjects like math or science, they all build on each other. So if you miss a lot, you're going to be totally out of it, and trying to catch up. So if you have that one person that you can work with after school, and then kids actually go.
Yeah, well,
most
that's
of the
my
time.
concern, that this is kind of undermining. We're trying so hard to address truancy, but at the same time, then we're,
Taking them out of school, 100%.
I
I
think
have
it's
that battle
something that-
all the time in my head.
I don't
It's a
understand
constant
that
piece of-
rule at all. That's just defeatism.
Let's just say, and I will,
there's two sides to
yeah, there always is. And I will just say that I see more cases coming out of the middle school than any of the other schools combined. So it's an age group issue, I think. It's
Well,
this age group.
That's the age group that doesn't have,
It's-
their brains have not developed to the point where they have the ability to figure it out. I mean,
Exactly.
that's pretty
And I will
obvious.
just say, also anecdotally, I have a stepson who's in 7th grade. He's been suspended and kicked out of school at least for a day every month this year. So, yeah, and we have to scramble and figure out what we're gonna do.
And that's one day, but
Someone
if you
has
look
to
at-
take off work to stay home. I
But
mean,
if you look
sometimes
at,
it's
if
3
30
days.
days or whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty rough. I mean,
And I mean, the
that's gonna-
stuff he's doing is so stupid, and I'm like, why are you doing that? You're so stupid. Well, of course, I don't call him stupid out loud, but, and it's like, why aren't you learning? What is going on? What's the disconnect? Like, you were just kicked out last month. Why couldn't you, and it's so hard as a parent to figure out, like, what can I do to keep you in school? When they just, the last time it was, a kid was slapping him on the back of the head in class, so he thought he'd get back at him by putting his shoes in the urinal. So he got kicked out from school for that for 3 days.
I thought you just turn around and smack the kid.
Well, I guess my.
And then there's the
concern-
vape situation. The
Is that
vape
the way we do it?
situation's pretty bad at the middle school, so there's been a couple suspensions of my stepson for that.
But I just think, I'll see if I can find out a little more and
Yeah.
maybe go to some school board meetings and just get some statistics, because I'm curious, because it just seemed like kind of counterproductive to, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of alternatives, like, okay, yes, you have 30-day suspension, or you can do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And if you get the parents involved, obviously the parents are going to want the child to stay in school too, because
Right.
they don't have the resources to take care of
Yeah.
that child at home like that, so.
I
Yeah, if
think
you saw
we-
my Google
think
history,
we
you know I'm
recognize-
trying everything.
I think we recognize that our children have a lot of trauma, parents splitting up or not showing up, when they say they want to visit with you, and disappointment. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are going on in children's lives nowadays because there's so much instability in, I think, the world and in families, unfortunately. So I think we recognize that and try to do all we can just to get them to come to school. So that's all we can do is try our best. But, yeah, going to move on if anything's, okay, thank you. For sure. Community service updates? We have somebody, here. What is your name? Scott? And then you wanted to talk to the CJCC about?
No, I was just curious the process, I just came to listen.
Oh, okay,
I was in the courthouse and this nice lady told me about it, so.
okay.
I came to listen.
Okay, well, welcome. All right, outside committee updates? Any correspondence, reports from conferences and meetings? I think we heard a little bit of that from Becky about WATCP. The LCO Wellness Court, we have 2 people who went to WATCP in April, and then 2 are going to All Rise in July. And they have never been before. They're both case managers, so they're very excited. And, yeah, so that's all that we got going on there. Any future agenda items suggested?
Aura Lee Caro will be here in June.
Oh, that's right, that I have that note, okay. Any others? No? The next meeting is going to be June 10th at noon.
I might try to get somebody from the Salvation Army, because after talking with Pastor Grace, with the safe warming houses the other day when she was here, gone to a couple of their meetings, in most of the faith community, a lot of the congregations are working through the Salvation Army kind of to be a one-stop, I don't want to say one-stop shopping, but instead of like people going to this church, getting a gift card, going to this church here, whatever, trying to be one point where people can go and get, I need clothing, I need transportation, I need whatever. So kind of funneling everything, the resources into one area. So I might try to contact somebody from the Salvation Army who's in charge of that and see if they would be willing to come and just give us a little overview. I can't guarantee I can get them for next month, but you could put it on the agenda, and if I can get somebody to come and, kind of give us a picture of it, great, and if they can't, then I can find another month, so.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything else? No? I don't recall if we did. I wasn't here last month. Anybody remember that? Rebecca Williams? No? I don't think so. Mm-hmm.
And the shelter for women. So I just think it'd be good to get updates, because that too is there to help.
It's very successful, too. Mhm.
That's the setting you're at, you know what I mean? Because the program is working.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know if Rebecca would feel comfortable coming and asking.
Do you want to ask her?
Yeah, just ask her.
She's in, just to explain her program? Yeah. I know we have 2 of our wellness participants live in the house there, the sober living house, and they have meetings every morning at 9, and plus they have other meetings going on through the week, and they have sobriety feast, and they're quite active. So it's just very successful.
What do you think
idea.
about putting that under, as a general item, under community services update, instead of just having Dave Dixon speak, and then if he's not here, there is no report? What if that slot was just open? That way, you wouldn't have to name everybody on the agenda, but you could try to get Salvation Army, you could try to get Rebecca Williams, or a person from the house that wants to speak. They could go there under community services updates. That way, it's a little less, it's more casual, but they would be able to speak at that time on the agenda.
Okay. That's a
Is
good
that a good
idea.
idea? Okay.
That's a good idea, yeah. All right. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn then if we have nothing further?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. I need a second. Second. Judge Isham, second. All in favor? Aye. I guess that's it. We're adjourned. See you next month, everybody.
Volunteering all summer, so he wasn't
We give this to